Are you saying green pen anyway?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
I said you say green pen.
Could you say that again?
Green pen, see it anyway?
I'm sorry, I still didn't get that.
I said, are you seeing green pen anyway?
Could you say that again?
Green pen, see it anyway?
One more time?
Have you seen a green pen anywhere?
No, sorry, nothing.
Have you seen a green pen anywhere?
Look, I can't hear a word you're saying.
I said, have you seen a green pen? Oh, there it is.
Hello everyone, welcome to Fortune. This is Fortune English in American Fan Romo. Today we're going to discuss lesson 6, which is about asking for repetition. So we're going to discuss about why do we need to ask for repetition, in what context do we need repetition, and how we ask using English language. So those who haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel just right now and share it to others so that others will have a view on our videos. So in our today's program, lesson 6, we're going to discuss about asking for repetition. What is repetition? Why do we need to ask for repetition? In what ways do we need to ask for repetition? So we're going to discuss these whole things one by one. So stay with us until the end of our program. All right. How to ask someone to repeat something? Okay. For example, we may not listen to what someone has said, okay, because of different reasons. So in that situations, you will be forced to ask for repetition. Okay. So there are times that you cannot hear and understand what other people say to you, what someone say to you, because of various reasons. So in that context, there are different ways of asking for repetition. What are those ways of asking for repetition? So we're going to discuss them one by one. But first of all, let me ask you one question. If you cannot hear, or if you are unable to hear what someone has said, do you ask him or ask her for repetition? Do you ask? Of course you will. You have to ask so that that person, that individual will repeat the points so that you will remember, you will understand it better for your communication. So such kinds of situation is very common in English language, even with native speakers, but it is more common in non-native speakers. For those who learn English as a foreign language, it's very much common because sometimes they cannot understand the accent of the speakers, sometimes because they might have limited vocabulary knowledge or capacity, and due to various reasons, it's very common to find asking for repetition, particularly for individuals who learn English as a foreign language than even native speakers. Okay, so here are some reasons. There are some reasons you may not be able to understand what someone has said. Okay, there are various reasons, so we're going to see some of them. The first one is contraction. Okay, for example, when native speakers are speaking, they may use series of contractions. So if you are not familiar with the shortened or contracted forms of words or sentences, you may get difficulty understanding what someone has said. So contraction. Okay, for example, instead of saying could have in a speech, I know speakers might say like coulda or could have, right? And instead of saying like are not, you are not, in a speech they may say you aren't. Okay, and instead of saying do not, a speaker might say don't, contracted form. They may use contracted form. And instead of saying should not, the speaker might say shouldn't. Okay, and instead of saying you have, okay, like for example, you have got a book, you have, a speaker might say you've got, you've, right? So these are contracted forms. So if you are unable to understand these contracted forms, you may feel difficulty understanding what someone says. So this could be one of the reasons why we don't understand. The other reason for failure to understand actually what someone has said is related with pronunciation. Pronunciation is how the word is correctly said. Okay, so sometimes you may not understand the accent of the speaker. Accent is the way of saying, the way of speaking. Okay, so sometimes the accent of native speakers might be difficult for other people. for learners of English as a foreign language. So that could be the other reason why we ask for repetition. The other thing is vocabulary. You know, vocabularies are very much important. The power of words, okay? Word power is very much important. So we need to get to know as many words as possible by using different strategies. So sometimes the words might be new to you, okay? The words that the speaker is using might be new to you. So in this context, you cannot understand what someone say, and then you ask for repetition. So this could be another reason for asking for repetition. The other reason is pace, you know, pace. That is, if the speaker is speaking too fast, you cannot catch every point, or you cannot understand what the speaker is saying, okay? So the pace of the speaker is another reason why we ask for repetition, or why we may fail to understand what someone has said. The other reason can be noise, okay? Too much background noise. Sometimes if you are speaking in the supermarket, if you are speaking in hospital, if you are speaking in schools, there could be some background noise. So in that context, even if you know the word, even if you understand the accent, you may be unable to just listen to actually what the speaker says because of the background noise. So this could be another reason. The other reason is distraction, okay? So there are some things that distract your attention, that make, you know, not to pay full attention to the speaker. So because of these all reasons, we may be unable to understand, comprehend what someone says to us. So we can ask for a repetition. So what are some of the phrases that, you know, we use to ask for repetition? Okay, to repeat what they said for us, what someone has said for us. That is a polite way of, you know, being polite is very much important. We have to use polite language when we are asking someone to repeat us what he or she has said. So what are the polite ways of repeating what someone has said to us, you know, polite way of asking them? So for example, if you cannot understand because of the accent, okay, accent is because of the pronunciation of the speaker, sometimes you can say like this one, okay, can you say that again? I didn't understand. Can you say that again? I didn't understand. Can you say that again? Okay, I didn't get all what you were saying. Okay. Could you please repeat what you just said for me? Could you please repeat what you just said for me? You can say like this one. I'm sorry, but I didn't understand you. Could you please repeat that for me? These are some of the expressions that we use when we are unable to understand the accent of the speaker. You know, we are foreign language learners. So for example, when native speakers are speaking, we cannot easily understand their accents, the way they are saying. So we can repeat, ask them for repetition. So you can use such kinds of phrases to ask them for repetition. The other point is, if you hear a word that you don't understand, sometimes you hear a word, or I mean, you listen to a word that you don't understand. You can ask the speaker to explain it because you don't know that word. Because unless you understand that word, okay, you cannot understand the whole story. So what are the phrases that you want to use in this context to ask the speaker? Could you repeat that word, please? Could you repeat that word, please? I don't know what it means. Could you repeat that word, please? Okay, I don't know what it means. You can ask like this one. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I don't understand that word. Okay, you can say like this one. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I don't understand what that word means. That means indirectly you are asking the speaker to repeat it for you. Could you please tell me what it means? You can say like this one. Could you please tell me what it means? I don't know, or I don't know it. So these are some of the phrases or polite ways of asking someone to repeat for us whenever we don't understand the words the speaker is using. Of course, we can use another expressions like, for example, I'm sorry. In the middle of a conversation, you can say, I'm sorry, excuse me, I beg your pardon, pardon. Of course, you can say come again, but come again is informal, it's not formal. So when we are using informal language, you have to consider the context, okay? So we can say like, I'm sorry, excuse me, I just beg you pardon, okay? come again, pardon, and these are some of the other phrases that we use whenever we fail to listen to what someone says. The other context is what would you do if someone is speaking too fast, that you cannot catch every point, that you cannot understand the point. This is the case. This case is true for native speakers. For example, when they speak, they are too fast that we cannot understand them easily, or that we cannot catch the points that they are raising. Okay, so in that context, you can use the following phrases. For example, you can say, could you speak more slowly, please? Could you speak more slowly, please? You can say like this one. Okay, I'm sorry, I cannot catch what you said. It would be better if you speak just a little more slowly. All right, you can say like this one. I'm sorry, I cannot catch what you said. It will be better if you speak just a little more slowly. This is, you are just asking the speaker to speak slower so that you can understand, so that he or she can minimize the pace, the speed at which he or she is speaking. Okay, so you can use such kinds of phrases. Remember, always we have to be polite when we are asking such kinds of questions. When we are asking for people to do us a kind of favor, now our language should be very much polite, because that politeness has got respect and it will come up with positive consequences at the same time. The other thing is, if there is too much background noise and you have trouble understanding someone, like being in a market, being in a supermarket, being in a college, being in a hospital, because of background noise, even you cannot understand what someone says. So these are some of the terms that you use in this context. Could you speak louder, please? Could you speak louder, please? I cannot hear what you said. I'm sorry, it's too noisy here. Can you say that again? I'm sorry, it's too noisy here. Can you say that again? Could you speak up? Could you speak up? I cannot hear you well. So these are some of the expressions that you use when you are speaking in an area where there is what? A noise or a background noise. All right. Finally, we can also use body language. Body language convey a good message, and they accompany our verbal explanations. So to show that you don't really understand what someone has said, you can also use your body language besides to the verbal explanations, besides to the phrases and the points that we were discussing. So there are mainly two ways to do this. The first one is a step closer to the speaker. If you are standing, okay? If you are standing, just step closer to the speaker so that you can listen very well. That is one way. The other thing is, if you are sitting, for example, lean towards the speaker. You can lean like this one towards the speaker if you are just. And again, you can open your hand and put it on your ear to say like this one. So you are saying that I'm not just listening to you. I didn't listen to you very well. Can you say it again? Okay. So when you just open your hand like this one and just put it on your ear like this one, it means you want more attention. I mean, you want to listen more to the speaker. You want the speaker to repeat the points. So these are non-verbal or body language. We call them body language communications that we show in order to explain our concern that we couldn't get the point that someone is saying to us. In our today's program, I think we have seen important points that are related with asking for repetition. The context in which we need to ask for repetition, the reasons why we ask for repetition, the phrases and sentences that we use to ask for repetition, and the non-verbal or the body language that we use for explaining that we couldn't understand what someone has said. I hope you have benefited a lot from our presentations. Our today's program ends here. Thank you all for viewing us, for watching us, for staying with us until the end. So in our next lesson, we shall come up with another topic. Thank you all for just watching us, for listening to our program. So again, we would like to say, those who haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel just right now. And Please try to share it to others so that others will have view on our videos. Thank you all for listening. So see you in our next videos. Have a good time. See you.